Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about several things that are coming soon to Virginia Beach through Hampton Roads that I think are good indicators of what is happening here, what is going to impact life in Hampton Roads. So I think that as you notice these changes, and this will also give you some indication of spots that I think would be smart to target for future appreciation for houses because of these types of things that are happening in these areas. So number one is going to be, there are a couple different restaurants I want to mention that will just illuminate a trend I'm noticing. So number one is the Ghent, which is a restaurant in Ghent on 21st Street, has a rooftop bar. The number two restaurant I think is going to help you see what's happening in Park Place is District à Pizza. From how I'm told, District à Pizza, that's how you pronounce it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this is New Haven, Connecticut style pizza. In New Haven, Connecticut pizza, I've heard is extremely good, but very unique to that area. And there are a lot of very popular restaurants in New Haven or around New Haven that are widely known across the nation. And so this is, to my knowledge, the first New Haven style pizza place that has come to Hampton Roads in Norfolk in Park Place. But what I want to mention to you primarily is not just the restaurant itself, but this is indicative of something greater to me. It is the slow growth of Park Place in Norfolk, that over time people were thinking, oh, this neighborhood was going to develop, it was going to totally get rebuilt over the next 5-10 years. Well, that was 15-20 years ago these talks were happening. It never really happened to the degree that people were expecting. Well, if you look on the map, Park Place is right around Ghent, okay, and that's one of the reasons why this neighborhood was intriguing, because it's so close to Ghent, close to all the restaurants. Well, between Park Place right here and Ghent was a very industrial section of town around that 23rd, 24th, 25th Street near the railroad tracks. About 12 years ago, a brewery called O'Connor was put in this section. That was one of the few things that was happening in this whole industrial part of town. Well, that was 12-15 years ago. Since then, multiple coffee shops have come in, multiple restaurants, multiple breweries. O'Connor ended up leaving for other reasons, but then you've got the Vale, you've got Rip Rap, and then a District à Pizza. It also showed up in this section. So right between Park Place and Ghent. And there are other restaurants too, but this section, the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think you're starting to see a change of like a momentum towards this area being rebuilt on a faster scale. And so I think because of this and because of the slow and steady regrowth of Park Place, I could see Park Place being a focal point and value increase for people that want to come and have a little bit more affordable historic style house, like Victorian or Craftsman style house that you could find in other parts of town for $100,000 more. You could start seeing the people go more into Park Place and increase the values of those areas because it's so close to like this industrial district, like where District of Pizza is. I'm starting to see that change, that tipping point where there are more houses being renovated, more businesses coming to the area. So number two is Buc-ee's is coming to Hampton Roads. Well, sort of. Well, if you've ever heard of Buc-ee's, Buc-ee's is the largest, I guess, super big gas station metroplex. Has the most gas pumps you've ever seen. It has barbecue inside, a lot of different foods. It's like I guess it's like a Walmart with gas stations. It's huge. If you've ever been to one, you know what I'm talking about. I'm so excited that Buc-ee's is coming to Hampton Roads. It will be in New Kent. So it's about an hour and a half north of Virginia Beach, about 30 minutes north of Williamsburg. And I know it's not close to the south side or necessarily the peninsula, but it's a big enough deal to where I think people even that live close to, including me, living in Hampton Roads, would go out of my way to go to Buc-ee's. So because of how cool Buc-ee's is, I think it's worth mentioning. If you've never heard of a Buc-ee's, definitely check it out. Go to one or check it out online so you can see what is coming here and why it's so fun. So number three is a new music festival that's starting in October of 2023 that's started by Odyssey, which is a music company that owns a lot of the radio stations here in the area. They're starting another music festival. It's going to be at the oceanfront. Where it is, I'm hearing 31st Street. I'm hearing closer to 15th Street. But the point is, it will be a 2-day festival and it will be national music artists. So this is another indication of the beach attracting more activities, things to do, things that people would come to travel to go do and see. We've seen several music festivals come to the area, and not to mention Something in the Water has come back to the area this past year, and the Dome site, which is a pretty historic music venue that is being redeveloped now, that's going to become a new like wave park and all big activities area that's going to be finished in the next couple of years. So as this is happening, you're starting to see a change and a trend towards making a push for tourism, new activities and things to do in and around the beach. And I think this is going to affect values at the ocean front and near those areas. So the Vibe District, I did a video recently about the Vibe District. That's another area that recently has done a whole facelift. So these types of things are changing the beach and changing it in a positive way. So I think over time, you're going to start seeing more appreciation as more demand for the beach picks up. So I think Virginia Beach, the actual beach, is on the come up for attractions and things to do. So get excited as we get into 2024. Next is an area that's closer to the beach that is being reconfigured and helping a ton for people that are driving through town, locals or tourists, which is the Alaskan Road construction. So if you look on the map, you'll see that Alaskan Road is a road that runs all the way towards the beach near 31st Street. And it's also where Hilltop is. Hilltop is very highly congested. People love going there. I love going there. It's got one of the weirdest roads in Hampton Roads, which is Alaskan Road, which has a bunch of what they call these service roads. Service roads are the worst. Look at this. All right, so you've got primary roads, which are there are 2 lanes that go both directions on Alaskan Road. But if you notice on the drive this way, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see separate roads, 2 separate lanes that are on both sides of Alaskan Road. These were service roads, and the service roads and the main parts of the highway were divided by a median. So you had to, if you wanted to make a left or right out of Alaskan Road, you have to turn across these service roads, and they're kind of like subset roads. So if you weren't wanting to go down Alaskan Road further, you could just go on these service roads and go slower, and there's no stoplight to prevent you from turning right into a different shopping center. But it's super annoying, and once you get onto the service roads, it's hard to get back onto Alaskan Road, and merging was complicated. So I love going to Hilltop, but being in Hilltop and driving down these service roads is super irritating. That's all changing for the most part. So Alaskan Road is going through a complete reconstruction in this section around Hilltop, going further east towards the Lincoln Bay. So look in the map over towards there's a bridge that's right close to the bay. This whole section all around Hilltop is what I'm talking about. So they're gonna increase the amount of lanes. There'll be 4 lanes each direction, and also they're gonna be eliminating a majority of these service roads. In addition to that, they'll be reconstructing the bridge that's going across the bay. It's happening now. It will finish in the beginning of 2024. I'm very looking forward to this. Any reason to not have to drive down service roads is a reason why I am very excited. And I think anybody that was going to move around Hilltop but chose not to because of the traffic and the issues there, I think that is going to change as we get into 2024 and might increase property values just a little bit. Now, the drawback to living around Hilltop is still going to be the jet noise to me. So I think even as the traffic gets fixed, the jet noise still exists. And if you don't like it, I still don't think this is going to be a great area for you to really enjoy because of that noise. Next one is Publix. Publix is coming to Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. Not just Virginia Beach, but also Chesapeake. They originally were just in Williamsburg. And I don't know if you've been to Publix before. This is a grocery store that is, I'd say, similar to like a Kroger ish, maybe like a Harris Teeter to a certain degree. This is going to be at the corner of General Booth Boulevard and Nemo Parkway, which is in the southeastern-ish section of Virginia Beach. And so if you look on the map, you see General Booth going down here. You got Nemo Parkway right here. Zooming in, it's going to be close to this Harris Teeter, I believe. When I go in Williamsburg. There's one in Williamsburg, and it's nice. I think, to me, if I was going to rank them, I'd still like Kroger better than Publix. I think Harris Teeter is probably a little bit nicer. I also think that, from my experience, Publix is a little bit cheaper. So I think it's just another option for people that are looking for grocery stores. It's going to be not just in Virginia Beach, like I mentioned, but also in the Cedar Road side of Chesapeake, close to the Veterans Bridge. So I'll show you what that is going down south here. You see the bridge, 17, and then Cedar Road right here. in this shopping center right here, and I'll drop it so you see that Farm Fresh. It was an empty building. There it is. It's that building, I believe, right there, off of the of Cedar Road and close to Route 17. Just another example to me of chains that were in other parts of the country that have been making their way to the South Side on the Hampton Roads area, anywhere from Virginia Beach through Williamsburg. Starting to see more change. You're starting to see more like breweries that have come from the West Coast. This is not a one-off thing that Publix is doing. There are a lot of different companies and businesses that have been coming here. It's just this slow migration I've noticed, and the growth of Virginia Beach, Chesapeake through Williamsburg is increasing. And I think that, again, as the Hampton Roads Bridge tunnel is fixed, and what I'm told now is 2027, I think you will start seeing even more things happening in Hampton and Newport News that will give those people that maybe were hesitant to live in Newport News or Hampton and work in Virginia Beach before, might then be willing to do that, which then increases more people coming. The values of Hampton Newport News increases. You just start seeing more and more growth in those parts of town just from something like the tunnels. Now that leads me to the rail yard, which is over in the western part of Norfolk, past Park Place, over towards Hampton Boulevard, which is another part of town in Lambert's Point that is being redeveloped right now. They'll have restaurants, green space, places for people to come, and for example, for lunches, evenings out, over near ODU and off of Hampton Boulevard. That is, for a while, Lambert's Point was similar to Park Place, where it was felt kind of run down for a long time. People were starting to rebuild part of Lambert's Point. The industrial section in the front of Lambert's Point was still sitting there. It's just kind of old and decaying. Well, this is now changing in this rail yard. The rail yard, which is this central focal point of Hampton Boulevard, is coming and starting and opening very soon. The end of 2023 into early 2024, I think you'll start seeing a lot more businesses come in because the construction is finishing pretty soon. So early 2024, you're going to start seeing more things happening in the rail yard. This is going to change the outlook and the future of Lambert's Point and the value of the area around Lambert's Point. Another example of more growth, more things to do, more happenings in Norfolk is increasing the values of these spots that have really shown a lot of age over time. So if you have any questions about relocating to Hampton Roads or Virginia Beach through Williamsburg, let me know. This is what I do. I love helping people relocate to the area. I've got my contact information in the description. You can reach out at any point, and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.